Han Seo-rin, a high school teacher, has just transferred to a new school, hoping for a quiet life and a chance to leave her dark past behind. At first, she focuses on being a good teacher and adjusting to her new environment. Soon, she notices one of her students, Yoram, who often appears withdrawn and becomes a frequent target of bullying. The bullies are led by Baek John-hyuk, a notorious student known for his arrogance. One afternoon, after class, Seo-rin talks on the phone with her fiancé while preparing to go home. She picks up a bottle of drink from her desk, assuming it is a gift from a student. Moments after drinking it, she collapses. Later that night, the school is silent and empty. A group of unknown people enters her office under the cover of darkness. As the figures move like shadows, unseen hands pull the strings of her fate. This is Marionette. The next morning, Seo-rin wakes up at her desk, disoriented. The class president finds her there, and she hurriedly tells the student to leave. Only after they are gone does she notice a red mark on her wrist and realize she cannot remember what happened the night before. The discovery shakes her deeply. It reminds her of the past she tried to forget. Years earlier, Seo-rin had been the victim of a similar assault that was recorded and shared online, destroying her reputation. Detective Gukchul, who now works at the same school as a counselor, had handled her case. Although the culprits were caught, the incident became public and led to brutal harassment from the media and her peers. She and her mother were forced to move away and change their identities to escape the shame. Now, staring at the mark on her wrist, Seo-rin senses the nightmare repeating itself. While trying to calm herself in the restroom, her phone rings. A message appears from an unknown sender who calls himself Master. Attached is a photo of her lying unconscious in the teacher's office. Fear grips her as she realizes she has been assaulted again. Over the next few days, Master continues to message her, threatening to release a video unless she obeys his demands. Desperate and terrified, Seo-rin tries to find proof of what happened. She contacts the school administration and the security guard to check the CCTV footage, but all recordings from that night have been deleted. That discovery confirms her worst fear. Someone inside the school is helping cover up the crime. That evening, during dinner with her fiancé and future in-laws, Seo-rin's anxiety grows. The master keeps sending her messages, each one colder than the last. The tension rises when her future father-in-law receives a spam message containing a scandal video of a teacher. They dismiss it as nonsense, but Seo-rin freezes in fear, knowing the danger is closing in. Desperate for help, she decides to meet Gukchul, now working as the school counselor. They meet discreetly at an internet cafe, where she explains the situation and asks him to investigate the master's threats. Soon after, the harassment intensifies. While teaching in class, Seo-rin receives another message from the master that reads, "The show is about to begin." Moments later, all her students' phones ring at once. The master has sent a video to every student. Seo-rin's heart races as she fears the worst. She shouts for everyone to turn off their phones, but the students ignore her. To her shock, the video is not of her, but of Yoram. The room falls silent. The students stare at their screens as the footage shows Yoram being assaulted by masked men. Ashamed and trembling, Yoram begs the class president to collect the phones, then runs out of the room in tears. Seo-rin follows immediately and finds her in a nearby park. Yoram tries to avoid her, but Seo-rin gently holds her and comforts her until she calms down. Later, Yoram finally tells her what happened. A few days earlier, the master had contacted her with the promise of a gift and told her to meet him at a warehouse. There, she was given a drink, lost consciousness, and woke up surrounded by masked men. Afraid of being humiliated again, she stayed silent, terrified the video would spread online. That night, Seo-rin returns to her apartment, still shaken. She senses someone following her in the hallway and turns around quickly, startled. It is only her fiancé, who came after failing to reach her by phone. Concerned, he listens as she explains everything that has happened. He urges her to go to the police, but Seo-rin hesitates. She knows how victims are often blamed and how hard it is for women to speak up in a society that doubts them. The next day, rumors about Yoram's video spread quickly throughout the school. Students whispered in hallways and teachers struggled to keep order. Amid the chaos, Seo-rin focused on her own investigation. She met Yoram again to ask about her connection with the class president, Jang Garam. Seo-rin remembered seeing the two argue near the staircase weeks earlier and wondered if Garam was involved or hiding something. After some hesitation, Yoram confessed everything. A year earlier, she and Garam had been in a relationship. Without her consent, he had recorded their private moments. When Yoram discovered the video on his computer, she deleted it immediately. Garam reacted with anger and threatened her, admitting that he still had copies stored elsewhere. The revelation left Seo-rin even more disturbed. She began distancing herself from everyone, including Gukcheol and her fiancé, choosing to investigate alone. Using the information from Yoram, she discovered that Garam planned to meet someone who might be the master. Determined to find answers, Seo-rin followed him from a distance to a nearby karaoke bar. Her attempt at surveillance failed when Garam and his friends noticed her watching. They chased her through the narrow streets, forcing her to run for her life. Just as they were about to catch her, Gukcheol appeared and intervened, driving them away. Only then did Seo-rin realize he had been keeping an eye on her all along. In that tense moment, Gukcheol revealed a painful truth. Years ago, he was the one who had leaked details of her assault case to the media. A reporter had blackmailed him for information, and under pressure, he gave in. The public exposure destroyed Seo-rin's life, and the guilt had haunted him ever since. He confessed that the incident led him to resign from the police and dedicate himself to protecting victims instead. Seo-rin was stunned by his admission. Though his remorse was clear, she turned away, unwilling to forgive or accept his help. She walked off in silence, leaving Gukcheol standing alone. Yet even after she left, Gukcheol couldn't stop thinking about her words. Refusing to give up, he began his own search for the truth. He tracked down one of the students who had chased Seo-rin and forced him to talk. From him, Gukcheol learned that the group had been ordered by the master to capture the woman following them, confirming that Seo-rin was the target. The student also revealed that Jang Garam's father was a police officer, which explained why the group acted without fear of consequences. Realizing the scope of the operation, Gukcheol contacted one of his former colleagues for help. Together, they uncovered disturbing details. The master had been paying students to commit assaults, then selling or uploading the videos online through anonymous accounts using foreign IP addresses. The setup made it almost impossible to trace. Gukcheol later met Seo-rin again to warn her of the danger. He told her that by following Jang Garam, she had drawn the master's attention and become his main target. As he spoke, Seo-rin suddenly broke down and suffered a severe panic attack, overwhelmed by everything that had happened. Moments later, Gukcheol's phone buzzed with a new alert. A website had uploaded a fresh assault video. To his horror, it showed Seo-rin lying unconscious in the teacher's office. Within minutes, the footage spread through the school. Students, teachers, and even her fiancé's family saw it. The life Seo-rin had tried to rebuild crumbled once more. Her teaching career ended instantly, and her engagement was called off. While Gukcheol began searching for the master, Seo-rin shut herself away at home, consumed by despair. Feeling there was nothing left, she prepared to end her life. But before she could, her phone vibrated with a message. A video of Yoram, tied up and crying for help. Clinging to that last shred of hope, Seo-rin followed the master's instructions and went to the location given to her. Once there, she was forced to drink something and quickly lost consciousness. When she woke, masked men surrounded her. To her shock, Yoram stood before her, unharmed and furious. It was then Seo-rin realized Yoram was not a victim, but part of the mastermind's plan. Yoram had previously manipulated the class president into spreading their video and had threatened to release it herself. As the situation turns chaotic, Gukcheol arrives to save Seo-rin, but is quickly overpowered by the gang. Moments later, the police arrive, forcing the criminals to scatter. Amid the confusion, Seo-rin manages to catch Yoram before she escapes. At the station, investigators search Yoram's phone and find the master's contact number. The trace leads to a man named Mr. Ko, who is quickly arrested. During questioning, however, Mr. Ko denies being the real mastermind and investigators cannot find solid evidence linking him to the assaults. Meanwhile, Seo Rin and Gukshul visit Mr. Ko's home to look for clues. Inside, they find a terrified 13-year-old boy. When Gukshul dials the master's number, the boy's phone rings. The truth is revealed. The real master is the child himself. Mr. Ko had once been involved in similar crimes but stopped out of fear of arrest. His son later discovered his secret and continued the operation under the same name. The boy manipulated victims into targeting others, turning the abused into abusers. When confronted, he coldly admits he did everything for amusement. The confession leaves the police conflicted. The boy's crimes are horrifying, but his age makes punishment complicated. Soon after, investigators tell Seo Rin that Jinho, the man once suspected to be the true mastermind, had died long ago. The news gives her a small sense of closure. Before parting, Gukshul gives Seo Rin a keepsake, a painful reminder of her past and the reason she changed her name and identity to start over. It symbolizes both the trauma she endured and the strength she gained to survive it. As time passes, the case ends, and Seo Rin finally begins to heal. She starts to rebuild her life, finding quiet strength in the peace she once thought impossible. The story closes with her stepping into a new beginning, leaving the darkness behind. So the moral of the story is never accept random drinks from students, never trust creepy messages from Master, and if life gets messy, just block everyone and move to another planet.